All right, welcome back to the Great Rabino. We have a college basketball special today. Mia Raskin, who I just a minute ago found out that I know her father, which is wonderful. Also, Mia plays basketball, D1 basketball at Binghamton. Mia, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor to be here with you.
Did you have practice today?
Today was actually our off day.
Okay.
According to the NCAA, they have to give us one day off a week during the school year. But a bunch of us went into the gym and we played knockout and played some like games like we would play in lower school. And it was so nice to just kind of play basketball again. And it was nice.
I'm always up for a game of knockout. So let's start a little bit before college. Let's talk about high school. Where'd you play high school and what was that team experience like? I imagine there were not a lot of D1 players on your high school team.
Yeah, so I went to the Berman Hebrew Academy. I'm a proud alumna. I'm so grateful for everything that my teachers had given me and all the friends I made there. Basketball wise, as you can imagine, it wasn't the most competitive league in the area. I'm pretty sure Maryland is one of the most recruited states right now for college sports. So we were not competing to that level necessarily, but it was a great experience, and I was on the team with all my best friends. I loved my coach. In high school, I hit some records for the women's basketball program, and then to get more of that competitive feeling, I went and played AAU, which is the Athletic Amateur Union. I'm pretty sure is what it stands for. But I played for the Potomac Valley Thunder, and that's really where I got the exposure and the experience to college level basketball.
Cool. So I know that, I'm a big fan. I played in for 3 years, the Reg Sarasac tournament in New York. And they have tournaments like that for women too. So I don't believe YU does, but maybe Stern does. So did you guys have tournaments like that where like fans, like for those people who haven't, I always say it's one of the best Jewish sports experience. And one of the best Jewish experiences, this Reg Sarasac tournament, these, the stadium's full pre-COVID. Did you guys play in any tournaments like that?
So when I was a freshman in high school, we went to the Shalhevet Globerman tournament. That was an amazing experience. I was one of the only freshmen there, and that's where, like, for the first time, like, I had heard an announcer say my voice. So that was a great memory. The following 2 years, we went to the Maimonides tournament, and then my senior year, I got to be a chair for a student-run tournament that we hosted at Berman Hebrew Academy. But I also spent a ton of time at the Red Sarachek tournament, cheering on our boys team, some of my fondest memories. But yeah, we definitely got those opportunities to also play against other girls basketball teams at other yeshiva high schools.
Great. Yeah, that's good. And my sister played it. We went to Ida Crown in Chicago. My sister and I both played there. And those tournaments were the best. So let's talk about recruiting. So obviously it's much different than this old fogey when he was, cutting out the clips from the papers and putting them in a paper collage to send off their schools. So you have the internet, but also not necessarily have sort of like focused eyes on you because you're at a Jewish school. And there have been more nowadays, certainly than my day, where you're able to find some of these athletes who go on, they've played D1 or they've tried to play D1. Sometimes things happen. How did the recruitment process go for you? Did people come to your games or was it exclusively AAU?
I would say it was mostly AAU. Two stories really come to mind. One being that I went to Brandeis University and I met some of the coaching staff there, and I remember showing them some of my high school footage from playing at my Jewish day school, and I remember them telling me that the game wasn't at a fast enough speed that they could really tell what my skill level was and if I would fit well with the team. Granted, the second I told them I wouldn't travel on Saturday for Shabbat, they said there's no way we can make this work because they only traveled literally on Friday night and Saturday afternoon. So that was off the table already. And then I remember another memory, which was AAU, a D2 school, Elizabethtown College, came and watched one of our games. And they came up to me and they asked me for my contact information. And I was playing on a Friday night at the Spooky Nook tournament. And I remember her saying, "Do you mind writing down your information?" And I said, "Actually, I'm Sabbath observant. Like, I'm so sorry, I can't fill it out. And that was the first time that a coach had said to me, wow, that's so interesting. Like, can we speak more about it? She ended up writing down my information. They don't have a Jewish community, so for me, it wasn't an option. But I think that really is telling of the difference between the high school affiliated basketball that I played and then the AAU basketball that I played during the off season.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen, and I think it's already happening, is that your story, a few years back, maybe 10, 15 years, there was not Masha Fair, was also she was Israeli, but also had some, I think she's observed now. You obviously had Samir Goodman, who sort of opened the doors for a lot of this, but also the YU basketball story that swept the nation is going to lead to hopefully more understanding, opportunities, and ways, just as we would help people with their dietary restrictions, regardless if they're Jewish or not, or other sorts of religious pieces, how teams can do it. So what's going on now? You're a freshman, right?
No, so it's actually crazy. So here
Okay.
at Binghamton, you get credit for a gap year in Israel. So that's the
Wow.
first crazy part. I graduated high school in 2019. I came to Binghamton during a COVID year. I reached out to the basketball team and they said that they couldn't let anyone who wasn't on the team into the building. So they weren't having any tryouts. This past fall, a manager position came up on a recruitment website, and I signed up immediately. Got on the phone, told them I know a little bit about basketball, started managing for them for about a month and a half until I realized that players were falling left and right due to injury. So I walked into the coach's office about 3 weeks before the semester ended, and I said, please let me help you in any way that you'll have me. But you only have 9 players on the court and you need 10 to play 5-on-5. Is there any way I can help? Turns out because of paperwork and COVID, I wasn't able to help out before the semester was over. I went home for break, got a call 2 weeks into break. Mia, is there any way you can come back to Binghamton early? And the second I heard it, my eyes lit up and I was like, there's no way I can pass up an opportunity. I don't know what this is going to entail. I don't know if the girls will like me, if they want me there. I don't know if I'm going to get any playing time. I don't know if they're just going to have me manage. I had no idea what I was signing up for, but I knew it had to mean something if they were calling me in that much of a panic on December 31st. So I got in my car January 2nd, right after a snowstorm in Maryland, and now I'm like on the roster, on the team, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I love this story. It reminds you so much of what I wanted to do. So we didn't talk about this, but so I went down to the University of Illinois, turned down some opportunities. I went down and tried out, but we were the second best team in the country. So they didn't really, they weren't taking any 6'3". They took one guy who was like 6'8" just to bang bodies. And I got to speak with Bill Self. And before him, my coach had called the coach. Long story short, because it's not about me, but I ended up coaching high school that year. And they said, come be the manager the following year. And Shabbat, I was traveling on Fridays in my first semester freshman year, and I hated it. And I was like, I need Shabbat. I can't do this. And so I love this. So let's talk about some of the observance, because we can't physically see your crossover right now. So let's talk about the observant piece. What does it mean? How are you making this work? How's the team making this work? And where are some of the obstacles?
Right, for sure. So the two biggest obstacles coming into this that I saw were going to be kashrut and keeping Shabbat. And my parents immediately were like, don't bring up the kosher part yet. You'll figure that out. I live in a off-campus house with a full kitchen. I knew it was going to be manageable. And the Shabbat thing, we got on the phone with the coach the day before I left with my parents and explained to her that, like, from sundown Friday to darkness Saturday night, I can't be on my phone. I can't drive. And those were like the basics of it. Like that was as simple as we were going to leave it. And she was like, we'll figure it out. Just come. And as time went on, more and more questions were being asked, not just from the coaches, but from the girls also. And they became really interested and fascinated about it. And I write it in my blog, but I would not be where I am right now if the coaches and players hadn't felt it within them to care enough to ask. And I think that that was a really powerful part of this whole experience. Was I could have talked and talked and talked, but at the end of the day, I didn't need to, because they were asking and they were curious about the why and the what, and just really insightful questions. And because of that, it like led me to having the girls over for a Shabbat dinner, because they were so curious. And we all stood up for Kiddush, and they listened to me. And I said, be careful, like it's a solo act. I don't have a great voice, but like bear with me. I said, you don't have to wash your hands, but I'm gonna go wash my hands, and I'm not gonna speak until I eat bread. And they did it with me, and they were silent. And it's just been so cool. Every day there's a new question. Every day there's more respect and more awe. There have been questions like, can I turn off my phone for a couple hours too and come play games with you? I'm like, yes, come on, let's do it. Last Friday night we had a game, and I drove before Shabbat, left my car there, and one of the girls walked back with me. Like, it's little things like that where they see it as like a way to make it more meaningful, a more meaningful lifestyle that they can find meaning in also. Like, you don't just have to be Jewish necessarily to find meaning in these things. And they've totally embraced it. And I can't express enough how grateful I am for that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, there's a lot of, I think we've come a long way. I mean, the Tamir Goodman story was clear. There's lots of reasons, and I know Tamir a little bit, and there's lots of reasons why he didn't go to Maryland and end up at Townsend. But, and since then, Binghamton actually has had Jewish players in the past, probably not observant, but they've definitely had Jewish players in Tulane and Northwestern, had an Orthodox Jew out from LA a few years back. So it is happening, and it's great that you're sticking to what feels comfortable to you, both an observant level, and obviously, as you know, from having a father who's a rabbi, like there are going to be times where you're going to evolve as a human being and as Jewish, and it happens to all of us. So keep doing what you're doing. That's great. Hopefully, not all of these injured players come back, and there's still room for you on this team, right?
No, I listen, these girls who are injured, they are fully doing their part. Like, they're the loudest people in the whole arena. They put in the work. If their legs are injured, their arms are working. And that also, like, the perseverance is absolutely incredible, inspiring. So.
And what's the forecast for the end of this season? Can Binghamton make a run in their tournaments?
Listen, these girls are incredible. They're so committed. They're grinding it out right now, and I sure hope that we make a run. We're I don't know if you're following, but we're getting so close every single game. Like, the margins are between 1 and 5 most of our games. It's insane. And I think that with all the setbacks, what we're able to accomplish is so impressive. And I'm just hoping that we keep pushing through, we keep rising each other up. Because it is a process, but it really seems like we've all bought in, and we're trusting it. So I'm hoping for that run.
Mia, this is a great story. I appreciate your time, and hope everyone follows along Binghamton women's basketball run, which is going to happen. And Mia's going to see infinite time on the court, right?
If not, infinite time on the bench, and I'm proud of it.
Oh, fair enough. All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.